Bree, I like how you added the hieroglyph of the giant with the boner in there. You just slipped that in there.
Slip that in there. There's a few things slipped into this presentation, I feel like.
I chuckled, but no one could hear me.
Presentation, so.
Can we just start off by saying happy birthday to Bree? Happy birthday to Bree. Everybody, let's do a cheers for Bree. Bree, this is to
Bree.
The last 45 years of being your best friend. Here's to the next 45.
45.
I hope it's a giant birthday.
My cheers is if I still look like this at 45. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'll take it.
I'm still trying to look this good at 28.
I made the mistake of looking at a picture of myself when I was 23 the other day.
And thank you to everyone who said happy birthday to me, especially Akashi Chris. When I saw that on TikTok, I was fucking laughing so hard. I sent it to my family. They laughed too. But it's really nice that you guys went out of your way to say happy birthday to me. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I gave myself a hug today. I was like, happy birthday to you.
Bree, is it your birthday?
It is.
Something like that.
And then is it yours next, Bibby?
Yeah, it's on Friday.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We should actually say happy birthday to Bobby too then. Let's
okay. So cheers to Bibby. Bibby, thank you for showing up. Did Adam win? Did Adam win?
No, but he got like over 4,000 votes.
Okay, well, cheers to Adam not winning, so you guys can still have
I
a
think
podcast.
he was kind of happy he didn't win. He was like, I didn't really want to win. It's another thing to do.
Either.
4,000 is probably a lot more than he thought he was gonna.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I hope you guys have noticed like my camera is so much better, is it not? I don't even have my ring light on.
Yeah, it seems like not as fuzzy all of a sudden. Like it's not low quality.
Brighter.
Oh, is this your new laptop?
But let me know. I'll turn on the light. But
no, it looks fine. You look glowing. You look great for 45.
Oh my god, amazing! Thank you, MacBook.
You're welcome.
Cougar.
Amazing.
All right, so what are
What's
we talking about today? I feel like we should let everyone know that we're talking about giants, and giant is our drinking word of the day. So every time you hear it, go ahead and take a little guzzle for the drink.
Now, someone real quick, someone confessed to me. I want to say last time we recorded that I can't remember who it was. Someone was like, "Yeah, I'm not actually drinking alcohol every time we do this."
Oh,
it was me.
I'm not trying to put anyone on blast.
No,
I just thought it was funny because I was like, I've been trying to keep up this whole time.
It is me, but everyone keeps fucking shaming me. So here we go. So I went out and I bought a bunch. I like hard cider. So this is a hard cider. Like it has a astronaut giraffe on it, and it has little UFOs on it.
Okay.
So cute.
So
I wasn't trying to publicly shame you. I just thought it was funny because I was like, I need to do that sometimes
peer
too.
pressure. I was like, every once in a while, just drink water and tell everyone it's vodka. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right. You'll never know.
We're in the spirit of drinking. I also smoke a lot of marijuana, and I feel like that is just as
that's illegal.
It's the same. Not in my state.
Well, it's not like we're like a show that's like get fucked up. Maybe, but
like,
it's also like, hey, if you have some water,
we got to do 45 shots for Bree tonight.
45 shots.
Exactly.
I got my new bottle of Prosecco. Yes. I'm so good.
Damn. Let me shout out the early arrivers real quick.
Please do.
Akashi Chris, always loyal. That Akashi Chris. Night Gazer. Love Night Gazer. Greg O'Brien, a good Irish name. Metal Gaming. I like that. I like that name too. Wally's World 420. Always doing bong rips over there. And Spooky's here. Hides in long grass. I think Vanessa's here.
Hello, weirdos, indeed.
Joe 5D. This is getting Con Squatch.
Hey, Joe, you my fave, boo.
Michael's here and Moon Pie, and I think that's it. If I
I
missed
will say,
hey,
Enzo is going to be notably missing because he is in Colorado Springs for the holiday time for Thanksgiving, so he is not here with us.
do they not have
today.
the internet in Colorado Springs?
I think he's like, he's chumming with the homies, or maybe it's a lady friend. I'm not sure. I didn't ask that much. I just told him to be safe.
So first of all,
this is my second bottle, to be honest.
Enzo did not clear this with me, but I do want to shout out that Wally's World, he says, so cool. The wife and I are celebrating
I love you, Daniel. You're
31-year anniversary.
Wow, congrats.
Tonight?
Yeah.
I guess we got to drink again.
Years.
One more to Wally and the wife.
We've been on for 10 minutes. I'm almost out.
It's usually how it goes.
We got to take little
Honestly, Joe, I fucking celebrate you, man.
It's okay. You don't have to drink. Smoke some weed.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm drinking it because it's my birthday, but if not, I would be really proud of myself if I didn't have a drink.
I will say, while we're talking about drinking, 2 weeks ago, I went a week just to I just wanted to see what it would do if I just didn't have a drink for a week, because it's been years. You feel great. It feels great. Your sleep cycle starts over. I recommend taking a break every now and then.
Listen,
just not tonight because it's Bree's birthday.
Yeah, not Bree's birthday.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with taking a healthy tolerance break on any type of substance.
Honestly,
may I recommend
if I
Twitter?
took like 2 days off of drinking, I'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, you know who probably drank too? Giants.
Giants.
Probably drank.
Let me get it. Go ahead.
Great segue, my friend.
Great segue.
Oh, so I guess that is the drinking word of the day.
Yeah,
it
is. We
is.
approached that already.
Yep. And I know we didn't really do it, but
that's the most accurate portrayal.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Bree. Wow.
Yeah. this is the closest you're gonna get.
Bree, do you lift those like spherical weights in the circus?
No, she has a fucking shake weight.
Well, everyone has a shake weight.
Yo, amen to the shake weight. I feel like I say this every time. The shake weight, call me some shit.
I remember the first time I saw the shake weight. I was actually in AIT.
I'm gonna hide this.
2010, and imagine this: it's a cafeteria with a bunch of soldiers, and the TVs are playing, and they all see these people with these weights doing this.
Can we get a gif of that, please?
Yeah, I'll clip it out.
And they're soldiers, so just imagine the laughter.
It's a bunch of shoulders.
Just a bunch of.
I love
soldiers.
Well, yeah, after shake weight, I was like, I could do this.
Well, we're talking about infomercials here. Can I share a quick theory? I'm pretty sure like a lot of those made for as seen on TV products and then infomercials, they intentionally slip in something weird and off-putting or sexual so that it builds buzz and like
for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because there was the slap shot and the guy's like, you gotta love my nuts. And there's like, there's no way they wrote that thinking like that's not fucking
No, for sure. I think that's also why all the people in infomercials end up being like criminals, because they have to pick people with some personality to sell the stuff. You know what I mean?
Like you have to do a lot of cocaine to do that.
That's what I'm saying. A lot.
Absolutely.
All right, bring it back up, Bree. Let's get back to our topic, which is
go ahead and like Billy Mays.
Yes.
Like my ex-wife.
All right, here we go. Giants.
So they are
straightforward.
This is the Oxford Dictionary definition. Giants are an imaginary or mythical being of human form but superhuman size. That is according to the Oxford Dictionary. In esotericism, what
esotericism.
In esoteric and occult teachings, giants are beings who live on spiritual, etheric, and physical planes of existence. But we're going to get into the more
which I feel like is also cryptids in general.
Right. Bigfoot's a multi-dimensional being that is
exactly.
You know what I would say? MTV doesn't play music videos anymore. We don't always have to do all exact
Oh shit!
Cryptids,
What
right?
a fucking
Yeah.
analogy! Oh my god!
We go where
TV has-
God takes us on this cryptid
So
adventure.
true.
Yes. So these people, the Denisovans, this is an actual. So we're getting straight to science here. This is an actual genus of Homo sapiens. They're called Homo sapiens SSP, which is a subspecies according to the people with the power.
I thought you were going to say super suppressive person. I thought we were going straight to Scientology right out the gate.
In 2008, an excavation in the Altai region of Serbia unearthed a bone of a small girl and a tooth from an adult. The DNA testing from this tooth revealed that, the DNA testing revealed the girl had roamed the earth at least 41,000 years ago, which is really long if you consider like the span of human history. The tooth that had been found was over 2.5 times the size of a human tooth, which is really important. The new species unknown to accepted history had been found. A species that once lived between 700,000 to 40,000 years ago. 700,000 years is a really long time in human history.
And also, that's a really big, gap to hedge your bets on.
Very much.
I will, before we get ahead, I would like to say that I feel like all of us here, I mean, a part of being a conspiracy theorist is that you don't necessarily accept the timeline that you've been given.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Hell no.
None of us, I think, accept the timeline that we've been given. And I feel like when it comes to history, when it's mixed with archaeology, there is such thing as hidden archaeology, or even just like taboo archaeology,
or forbidden archaeology.
Forbidden.
Yes. I think that happens
like
though,
that book that guy wrote,
because it's challenging the narratives that have been taught for generations and generations. It specifically happens a lot inside of Egypt. That's where it's kind of the most famous known for. When new stuff comes out, like I don't know if you guys know this, but recently they actually think that they found the tomb of Cleopatra finally, and it's interesting because a woman found it. The woman found it because the curse was like no man will find it, and it was like, oh well, a woman found it. But the thing is like it's hard to get the information coming out because they don't want that much information coming out, because if it changes what they've already been teaching and it changes the narrative, then they suppress that and it gets hidden down. And all you're going to hear about is, oh yeah, they found Cleopatra's tomb, but then you're never going to hear anything else about what they found inside of it.
Yeah. Narrative propaganda comes in many different shapes and sizes, including multi generational over centuries, right? But what is it? Maybe Tony, you know the answer to this, or maybe someone else does too. The conventional accepted timeline of like civilization was what, like 12,000 years before Christ?
12 or 15, something like that.
Somewhere in there, right? Civilization, what do they call it? The agricultural revolution was probably somewhere in there.
Yep.
So people could start farming and build cities and whatnots, and then these people find these anomalies, right?
But at the same time, they admit that like 15,000 years ago, there's that archaeological site in, I think it's Turkey or something like that.
Göbekli Tepe.
That was buried. That they're like, oh yeah, this was a hub where all these travelers came and did trades and worshiped these gods and everything. Yeah, but at the same time, you're telling us that people were just now
they were like hunting with sticks and stuff.
Yeah, it took another 3,000 years for them to figure out how to grow wheat. So what was really going on here? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. I try to keep a skeptical eye with all the different versions of ancient history and whatnot on all sides, really. But I definitely subscribe to the fact that things were like reset at one or several points in human history.
Yes.
Or like people were definitely more advanced, or different, at least different types of advanced technology than what we have. Because some of these, I could talk about the monoliths all day, but like some of that stuff is like I'll just stare at that thing and acknowledge that modern scientists don't know how they built these things. And then like be like, how is this just so explainable? Like, how is no one further questioning this if that's the case? But
right,
they keep a lid on that shit.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the whole point that I was trying to get to, is just that I think a lot of us, especially in this community, and for sure here on Bobby's Cryptid Corner, I think a whole of Toddy-Waba, actually, we all kind of recognize the fact that the mainstream view and timeline is not correct. And we understand the meaning behind it. All of us, I think, understand that, of course, if there's history books, you put that in a text, you then create different timelines and things for people to study. If you break that, then you therefore break the entire academic structure, which
Paradigm.
you've created for someone to go down. So, of course, that would be sort of negated in the fact. And like, so we understand that.
Right.
But
Protected.
we're like, fuck it. Break it down.
Yeah.
We don't care.
And my biggest thing with that is, why does this threaten, like, how does it threaten the narrative so much where you just can't say, okay,
but I
maybe
just said
people
that,
have been
though.
around longer? Like, yeah, why?
Because they've used the narrative to
Rewrite
control
the
and
history
manipulate
books.
people.
There's
Yeah.
also-
But how does that change the outcome?
But there's
No.
here the other thing. It's a couple things. It's one, there's complete reputations and institutional reputations on the line of like, if they were to come out and just, or like, astute what's the word, like gurus in these topics, academic people, they're going to protect that stuff because that's like their entire legacy, right?
Exactly.
And then that's the
thing,
institution's
legacy.
entire legacy. And then on top of that, if something so abrupt was to be revealed to the public and accepted by the public, like, everyone's going to start questioning even more shit. And that's when you lose control.
Okay, I'll accept that.
All right.
Well, yeah, it's but there's so many layers to that, though. And I feel like we should probably understand that. Let's like pretend that we had a degree in some form of Egyptology. And we've created an entire timeline in our academic structure that says this happened, this was, the pharaoh, whatever. And then this led to the death of so-and-so. And then we moved on. If for some reason something was to be uncovered that suggests that another person came in, another pharaoh was even possible, that would throw everything up in the air. And then you have to squash so many different books, your studies. I mean, everything that we know, just all of history would be shifted around. And so that's kind of the unfortunate thing that we're looking at, is that academia has such a gnarly grip on a timeline, unfortunately. I mean, I would like to think that they keep an open mind, and that when it comes to any type of archaeology, when it relates to history, that it's really only what we've uncovered.
Right. So,
right.
and
So like,
And how
Right.
the
you should
story
leave
was told to
room
us, and how the
Like,
story
you
should
was
leave
interpreted and told to
room
us. Yeah, exactly.
for more to be uncovered. Just because we haven't uncovered something from, a certain timeline doesn't mean that maybe in 5 years we will uncover something else.
Well,
And
yeah.
especially as the planet shifts, as different like weather patterns happen. I know that for sure. I mean, things have been able to wash away things, and all of a sudden something uncovers. You're just like, what the fuck's that in the sand? You pull it out. Oh shit, this is a whole new tablet. That's the kind of things that we need to be comfortable with, open to discovering more in our history.
I think what you're calling to is this idea that in science, you always leave the door open because there's always new possibilities to find. So you're always changing your idea in your mind. But when it comes to history, but when it comes to history, those doors are closed. They're not, and the problem is that archaeology goes between the two of those things. And so it's trying to uncover things on both ends, and one side is being accepting of it and one side is not.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because it's like I don't think that all narratives are like created as a control. I think there's like an organic innocent process to it as well. It's like, okay, here's the pieces of information we have. We might as well build our best guess as to what is going on here. But then again, like Bree was alluding to, and even Tony and myself, once things start getting institutionalized, that's when things get weird as far as accepting new paradigms. So,
but science does it too, though. Like Jamie said, like compared to science, but science actually does it too.
Yeah, when did science
does it as well?
Yeah,
it will
ignore
over the last things.
100 years did science and archaeology become absolute? That's what I want to know.
Right. I mean, that's ultimately one of the big flaws of human beings. Is just they're so in love with their paradigms that they're not able to. It's a smugness in a way. It's like, well, we're at the best we've ever been, so this is this is what it is. Yeah,
it's an entire facade.
It's ego.
We pretend like, oh, we're in this because we want to figure out, and we're so open to new possibilities.
But I would argue
new possibilities come, and then they're like,
theoretically, on paper, I would say that if it's not, at least like history should be as open to, new discoveries as something like science.
I feel like history should be more open because science gets trickier when you have built models and you've taught all these people to go out and all their different like jobs and shit to base their lives off particular models, and then you throw something in there and it shifts it all, and it's like, hey, guess what? The physics is not actual physics. Right. I understand that. When it comes to history, I feel like we should be able to easily rewrite that.
That's the problem too.
Science
ultimately
should be more malleable.
Science is built on objectivity, whereas history is like an incredibly subjective. It can be influenced by subjectiveness, right?
So
like,
much, yes.
Sure.
Science is like, we're going to measure this, right? That's science.
Repeatedly.
Yeah. Whereas history is like, well, who won the battle? They get to write the history. What's the agenda behind pushing this thing? There's all kinds of other fuckery afoot. It's more vulnerable, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
For sure.
Next slide, BB.
Thank you, Marvin, by the way, for your $5
thank you, Marvin.
Thanks, Marvin.
So, based on the size of the tooth, the size of the individual, this is the Denisovans, who sported it, could, as determined by science, be as much as 3 times the height of a modern 6-foot tall man.
Damn.
So like pretend it's 6 feet tall.
This is the adult, not the child's bone that was found, but the adult's tooth would have belonged to an individual that would have had to have been 18 feet tall.
Jesus.
Wait, so the Denisovians are they accepted by mainstream science? Weren't you saying that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
They're a accepted subspecies of Homo sapiens.
Almost like Gigantopithecus. It's based on like one bone they found that they know is a hominid.
Like, it's more than one bone, though, baby. It's
right. Well, I mean,
more than one bone.
Yes.
But
right.
Yeah.
But in theory, yes.
Yes.
Did we ever actually go over the Denisovans? Did we do that? The last slide?
The last slide,
Yes.
yeah. Tony read it.
Okay. Okay.
So
This is
here
the
you
tooth.
see on the left is the tooth. This is a molar from a Denisovan compared to a modern human's molar, and that is massive.
It's huge. Yeah, that's a gigantic fucking tooth.
Like, just think about the jaw. Yeah. This is the line, right? Where your gums are. Like, think of that. That's fucking...
It's huge.
So, I don't want to jump the gun here, but I'm already...
The size of my hand?
I'm already facting the giant because of this right here.
It's a
we love
massive
this.
tooth.
Like if we're gonna say we want to give the alternative perspective the benefit of the doubt, but we also want to obviously consider mainstream science and try to do a balancing act there. They seem to be in agreement already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
it's wild.
they seem to be, but are they?
Yeah, I was setting you up for the next slide.
Yes.
Like,
I mean,
that's
you
the
look at
fucked up part.
the picture on the right, you have a modern human skull next to a Neanderthal skull, which we know there were certain groups of humans which interbred with Neanderthals. I think it's something like 3% of people or 15%, something like that.
I have
There's
a higher
a
rate of
significant-
Neanderthal when I took my
Oh.
DNA test.
That explains your aggression.
It does, yeah.
Wow.
Actually.
When I did my DNA test
Free
with National
smash.
Geographic, which I would hope that they could continue that with this type of evidence.
Mhm.
But when I took my DNA test, it was like I was a point higher Neanderthal than the average American
Person.
population. Mhm.
And
Wow.
then look at the size of the difference between the skull with a Neanderthal and a Denisovan. That is huge.
Huge
The
difference.
question is if the brain is larger. That's
Yes.
like the real
So
question
the
in my
brain
mind.
is actually. So I did look this up, and the brain for a modern human was like 1,100 cc's, and then the brain for a Denisovan was
When you
somewhere
say
around.
CCs, I think
Like
of
a
breast
motorcycle?
implants.
Yeah. It's like
Well,
breast implants. Yeah, like that
Breast
size.
implants are
Yeah.
CCs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yes.
think about it like that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So it was like 1,100 to like 1,700 for
So
a
we're
Denisovan.
wow.
B cups
But-
to
Much
double D cups.
Bigger, much
Yeah.
bigger brain.
Is that an accepted like the bigger the brain in proportion, the smarter the person is, or
not
the
in
animal is?
hominids?
Right, I didn't think so.
Yeah, in
Doesn't make
hominids that wasn't always the
sense.
case.
Wow.
The Neanderthal obviously had a bigger brain than the humans, but we
Jojo Bone is in the house.
we kind
Sorry, I
of
was gonna say
knocked them
JoJo.
out of the food chain.
So what were you saying? The height is around 18 feet, 6 foot tall.
That is
A minimum
what
of
is
18 feet.
Yeah, that's what's determined by the size of the tooth, because then they can determine how big the jaw would have to be, and then the skull to support it and everything.
Can you imagine
Jesus.
18 feet? Like we subtracted.
That's
an
pretty
ass
much
ton.
it's pretty much a telephone pole size person fucking
For
walking
sure.
around everywhere.
Oh my
Someone
God,
bookmarked
that's
this.
terrifying.
Someone
Isn't it?
bookmarked this. I would like to actually dive into this a little bit. I don't want to take up your time, but like I just have a comment to make.
18 feet is rather large. It's almost 3 meters. Well, it's almost
Well,
3 meters.
okay, I'll just quickly say it now. When
Okay.
other people have looked at the trajectory of a human, right? They came across this like really crazy visual of we'd have bigger eyes, we would be smaller, and then in
Mhm.
turn it looked like we were the literal epiphany of fucking a gray alien.
Gray alien. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I
Wait, what?
wonder
I don't follow.
You've never
Yeah.
seen that? Okay, so they're basically
It's
saying
like
that
when
through
humans
elevation.
evolve over like
How
1,000
we're
years
gonna
or-
evolve into these
Yeah.
androgynous,
Yeah, with these big
sexless-
eyes, hunched
Oh, yes.
over.
Okay, sorry.
Like,
Go ahead. Yeah, totally.
so if our trajectory is looking like we're gonna be like these fucking gray aliens, I feel like where did we go wrong? Because if we were to be a little bit more like Denisovians, why would we revert backwards and then
Because
just keep
it's
going down?
the argument is that we embrace technology so much that we replace our humanity.
So we
with
started
it.
going backwards. Exactly. So it's like we had this like going up and evolving, and then technology took over, and then we started to go backwards.
Yeah, so we lose the need to have physical strength because we have machines that do everything for us. And
It's just
That's the whole
interesting that
hybrid
this
theory,
jump-
the alien
It is
hybrid theory, right?
the alien hybrid theory. It's just
Yeah.
interesting that we could have been with the Denisovian, and then like we made such a jump that then we're just gonna be like,
well, there's a very good chance that at some point in human history we coincided with the Denisovans, and because we know we existed at the same time as Neanderthals, And
Right.
Neanderthals were probably victims of the Denisovans, and there might have been some type of storytelling in between Neanderthals and modern humans as to these giant people that look just like the Neanderthals and the modern humans that are these big, vicious, cannibal, because they were cannibalistic and they mostly existed in
I don't need the
Asia,
nachos.
Central Asia to
Thanks so much. Love you.
The Middle East up to Serbia and Siberia and everything.
All right, read this one.
I will read this one. It's
yeah,
tiny.
It's like it's so small. You read.
Anatomy from ancient genomes enabled researchers to piece together a rough composite of a young girl who lived at a Denisovan cave in Siberia in Russia 75,000 years ago. The results suggest a broad-faced species that would have looked distinct from humans and Neanderthal. So this is a face that would be totally different if you were like walking. I mean,
if you put if you put everyone, the species together, like they wouldn't look similar. You would be able to distinctly tell that they're very different.
Which is interesting because in our day, we think of like, we can see races, right? We walk around, we're like, okay, you look like you're Chinese, maybe you're Japanese, maybe you're, we can see our different cultural differences. It's interesting to think that back in that day that you could possibly tell the differences between
just by their facial features.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to understand, Brie, back then, the only people you saw were the people in your tribe.
I was like, yeah, you have to remember you're breeding with people who are exactly like you. So like you're going to create a race of people that have a very specific, like, okay, like one tribe all has widow peaks because all of their ancestors have widow peaks. You know what I mean?
That's where like racism and ethnocentrism is rooted from, is that mentality.
Yep.
So that looks like Martin Short. And
okay.
Can I also say, what was I going to say? I lost it. Okay. Oh yeah. It's Middle Earth. It's Middle Earth. We're talking about Middle Earth.
Yeah.
There's elves. There's hobbits. There's giants. There's these like Martin Short creatures. It's Middle Earth. It's very Tolkien.
Well, here's go back real quick, Bree. There's one thing I want to bring up when we talk about the Denisovans is this could actually be, because they would be a threat to Homo sapiens at the time. This could be the reason for the uncanny valley syndrome.
What's the uncanny valley syndrome?
That's where you're looking at something that looks human but not quite, and it's disturbing to you because it's not quite human.
It's like almost like your brain, your eyes don't see it, but your brain does.
Yeah, exactly. Like your brain is recognizing as a human, but what your eyes is looking at is something that's slightly off. So people say, like, you ever watch the Polar Express? That's kind of like uncanny valley. Like, like it's this weird combination of like realistic and cartoon, and your brain can't quite figure out what's going on.
Right. Or like why we find robots creepy.
Exactly why we find robots creepy. Yes.
Yep. But
especially ones that have skin and face. That's why they don't put hair on them.
That's why I think that there is a deep genetic history to Uncanny Valley, and it's not just because we think robots in video games look creepy. I think it's because we have a genetic predisposition to not trust something that looks human but doesn't look human.
While we're on the evolutionary psychology spiel here, where do you guys? So, I'm not speaking for everyone, but I think that, you hear the tall, dark, and handsome, like height is something that's generally found pretty attractive.
Yes.
Do we theorize that maybe this has to do with these giants were powerful and fucking shit up, maybe kings of certain areas, and, we gravitate towards that, and we affiliate height with power?
I would absolutely, for sure. Why not?
Cool. I'm glad we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
here.
I feel like
it's weird though, because like I like tall men, but I don't like tall girls.
Okay, well, so I'll say something on that too. So psychologically speaking, like a lot of women,
I hate volleyball.
a big reason like that they like taller men is because women like to feel small and petite and little, and so having a big tall man makes you feel small and petite and feminine.
Yeah, it's like a safety thing too.
Exactly. Yeah, like if you're a woman, and I'm not saying it's bad if you're dating someone who's shorter than you. I'm just saying psychologically, this is like what they've deducted is that if you're dating a taller man because you want to feel small, and when you're a big woman. Your man, it doesn't feel like your man can protect you. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Again, don't throw me under the bus. I love
men and women of all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, all shapes
I want to put that on the record right now.
Just talking psychology-wise. I know.
Yes, we're talking about bell curves here. We're talking about the vest,
exactly.
Like traditionally speaking. Maybe that's all social construct
but
too,
also
though.
from like our own, preferables.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I am only like 5
I'm a Christina Hendricks kind of guy. That's
I'm
my
only
style.
5'2", so most people are taller than me. So I don't really have the short person problem because like most people are taller than me. So
there you go. Yeah.
Respect.
Great. Well, let's move on to the next slide, I guess.
Yep.
Tony.
So Homer's Odyssey. There's a giant in Homer's Odyssey. His name is Polyphemus.
I was literally just going to randomly say Paul, and I love that you said that. We should just call him Paul.
Paul.
So Polyphemus in Greek mythology is a cyclops. He's the son of Poseidon, who's the god of the sea, and the nymph Thusa. During his wanderings after the Trojan War, the Greek hero Odysseus and his men were cast ashore on Polyphemus's island home, which was Sicily, and the enormous giant pinned the Greeks into a cave and began to devour them. And it's a famous line in Homer's Odyssey where Odysseus claims himself as no one or nobody while he blinded the Cyclops, giant creature guy.
Tony, were you reading the slide just now?
No.
Oh, okay.
I can actually read
Greek?
ancient Greek.
By the way, Tony can read Greek.
Yeah. A little skill he learned in the army.
You must be rolling in it.
I am actually like 15% Greek, so if I fuck this up, I just have to hate myself for it.
I feel like you've already fucked up, so you should think of a plan B.
Can you still make fun of the Greeks?
Can I do this slide? Can I do this slide?
Opa. Yes.
If you want to.
Okay, so it's Giantomachi, which is this battle that happened between the giants and the gods. So according to myth, giants attacked the gods, but the Olympians learned that they could only emerge victorious if a mortal helped them. The gods therefore called Hercules to aid them and won the battle. So this is just another, I think, example in Greek mythology where you have this other version of giants.
And I'm sure we're going to get into it eventually, but I just got to point out post-it note these kind of motifs with the Greek pantheon and the creatures of that mythology, and then when we get into the biblical stuff, it's like pretty much the same thing, just from a different culture.
Similar, exactly.
Absolutely.
So I'll keep going. So Hesiod, who was a ancient Greek poet, talked about the giants, the gigantes, a group of 100 giants born of the earth goddess Gaia. She was impregnated by the blood of the castrated sky god. I don't know how to say that. Uranus. In honor of Gaia, the giantettes is what I want to call them, waged war on the gods. Gigantettes. Waged war on the gods and were destroyed in the ensuing battle. Most famous of the combatants were Enceladus. It
is a moon of Jupiter.
Oh, okay. So Enceladus, that's right.
Enceladus.
Who was buried by Athena beneath Mount Etna. Polybots, who was crushed by an island cast by Poseidon, and these are like some crazy god shit names here. Polyrhyophon, who was slain by Zeus, and Hecate when attempted to violate the goddess Hera. Basically, what they're just saying is that giants were involved.
Yes. No more readings for Jamie.
Okay. I have
no more reading for Jamie.
I was like, no more for me. Jesus Christ, this is rough.
Today,
you
Junior.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't like these words.
I have a question.
She volunteered.
This is kind of a dumb question, but I'm going to ask anyway because I don't know the answer. Was Homer supposedly writing about like the time he lived in?
Ooh.
I guess it was a good question. Because I don't know. Like, I don't know if
I think. Oh God, I think.
I don't think I've ever asked.
He was talking about the future.
No.
Or like a past time.
Or like a past mythological.
Or
time.
if he was viewing it.
I think he was. I think he wrote it after encountering Odysseus.
Right. What's the like? They think that the was it the Trojan War was a real thing, possibly. No?
Yes, that was a real thing.
It was a real thing, 100%.
But I feel like that it was accepted as mythology for the longest time. But like people are just now acknowledging that it may have been real.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I learned about it in school. I learned about the Trojan horse. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's the rest of the Odyssey that people.
Well, the Odyssey has like sirens and fucking.
Oh yeah.
Cyclopses and shit in it.
It's a very, very good point. Metal gaming. Old ancient Greeks could be like TikTok's generation, writing all sorts of ludicrous just to gain famous. Absolutely. That's what we talk about when we're talking about history and what we're learning from the perspectives. We're only learning from so many written documentations that we have that are saying this is what happened. So that's what we're taking as like fact and truth. Because that's what history has deemed it.
What if Homer's Odyssey is just like Harry Potter?
For sure. Like it's just made up bullshit. For sure.
But it could be he was the first guy to write down all this shit that people always talked about.
Exactly.
Yep. Could be.
And some of it is rooted in real events, and some of it got passed down and became wild and crazy.
I think
kids.
that's why it's kind of called mythology, though, because it's that in between actual history. Is it real? Is it not? Is it fact? And so that's why they came. That's why it kind of goes under that term. You know,
in mythology. There's a really good book by Karen Armstrong called A Short History of Mythology. You can read it in an afternoon, but it makes the argument how like profound mythology is for like good reason. Like, like we could sit here and like, let's just use George Washington, for example. We could sit here and like point out all the flaws of this man of his time, but the mythology of it takes on a state of its own where that stuff it should be considered for historical accuracy, but like the mythology.
Are you talking about his teeth? Let's just get to the bottom.
No, I'm just talking about like okay, the father of the country, and like he's someone. No.
I think what you're saying it's this idea that we're perpetuating him as this great figure because he's this. We're putting him up on this idol. We're idolizing him as like the founder of our country. This is what democracy is founded on.
That as
but the truth is that there's historical accuracies that are overlooked that show him maybe possibly not to be the greatest guy. One of them was that everyone said his teeth was wooden when in fact they were not. He had the teeth of slaves, and the reason they said that his teeth was wooden and why they perpetuated that inside of history books is because they didn't want people to know that he owned slaves, because they thought that would backlash on the fact that they were trying to idolize this man as something.
Sure.
Well, he also had it wasn't just human teeth. He also had teeth made out of ivory, which at the 100%,
time
was a really big thing. The ivory trade contributed to the death of a lot of natural resources that they wanted to get people away from, especially with pianos and a lot of stuff. So they didn't want to hype up this fact that ivory was like such a big thing. So they downplayed ivory for a very, very long time because of the ramifications of the ivory trade.
All I'm saying is that for better or worse, the argument is that mythology has a more profound impact on a society than, say, the historical accuracies of some human being.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
All right, next slide.
How do we tie this back to giants? I don't know.
Drink.
George Washington was based on Jack and the Beanstalk.
We're actually going to kind of get to that. So this scene here is of Athena battling the giant Alkyonios. Athena grabs the hair of the giant as Nike, yes, Nike is named after a Greek god, the goddess of victory, flies down to crown the goddess victorious. So, I mean,
is the goddess's name Victorious or crown the goddess?
Okay. Nike.
Nike crowns the goddess Athena
victorious.
Victorious.
Of the giants.
Gotcha.
Yep. So I think it's really cool to look here at just the amount of detail that is in old marble sculptures from thousands of years ago, and just
like why. Here's the thing: like it's interesting that you say that, because why would they be taking time to sculpt something like this in this fashion to depict this scene if they weren't necessarily depicting something that actually happened? You know what I mean?
Not to mention how they did it and what we ascribed the lifestyle these people were at the time.
We should do a whole show just on the depiction of this, because there's so much sexy time, like crazy sexy time.
Crazy,
wow,
like
Brie.
In these like dicks out of every hole, and like people just like,
so you have to understand that during the time of Greek,
somebody has a case of the birthday hornies.
Well, no, during the time of the Greeks, the penis was seen as like a power symbol.
Baby, it's constant.
It's like it was a power symbol. So they had it in all of their sculptures and all of their decorations. There was just dicks everywhere. Every time we look into Greek kind of like mythology,
for sure, it's just dicks.
And what also in titties?
Where'd Tony go? He's missing the dick talk.
Like, he was real.
They were very liberal with their sexuality too. The Greeks, like many of them, were bisexual. They had tons of these giant orgies where it was like it didn't matter. They were having sex with women, men, unfortunately, children, animals.
Maybe we should do an episode on just like
the Greek horniness.
You just said this a second ago, and I'm trying to think of
how messed up the Greeks were.
Like the just universal sex of our olden days, like ancient sex. Maybe we should just do ancient sex.
I'll let that be a ladies' night episode.
Ancient fucking.
No, you guys are so into that. You guys, I know you guys appreciate that. Please, the two douchiest douches.
Give us the next one.
So this is
Emir.
Emir. So me and Brie went over this earlier. The proper pronunciation.
Emir.
We Googled it.
We did.
Emir was the grandfather of Odin and his brothers, who naturally killed Emir and created the cosmos / the 9 realms.
Makes sense. So, total.
Absolutely makes sense. Norse mythology is extremely, straight line and 100% makes sense. Ymir's sweat actually created the Jotuns of Jotunheim, which anybody who's watched Thor knows are the frost giants. That is where they come from.
Or what is it? Old Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Say that again, Bobby.
Game of Thrones.
Yep.
What about
remember
Game of Thrones?
Remember the tall whites?
The White Walkers.
The White Walkers. The tall whites.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
The White Walkers.
So
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So once again, this what we're trying to establish here is we have yet another culture that has giants.
To me, what stuck out is the 9 realms. So in other people that dabble into like channeling different alien lineage, I guess you could say, lots of them talk about the 9 realms, the 9, not to be
dramatic
in any sense.
German 9
German dramatic. There's a lot of the 9.
That's their special member.
The 9, like people to like channeling the 9 came to me. So I thought that this was really interesting that it tied with the 9 realms when he talked about creating the cosmos.
Mm.
This is something I would like to dive in deeper to, because we talk about like these new age concepts, but then when you find things that can be tapped down to way, way, way older mythology, that's an interesting connection. I would like to find out if they're just people that have already linked that, or if there is a natural connection to that. So I would like us all to take a mental note to the 9 realms.
All right.
How interesting is it that there's 9 realms and 9 planets?
Oh my God. What about Pluto, though?
They
kicked Pluto to the curb. That's not a 9.
Fuck NASA.
We're an 8.
It wasn't even NASA. It was the Science Institute or some shit. Planetarium.
It's NASA. It's always NASA.
No, it was Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm sorry. It was Baby Daddy.
So talk to your husband.
I know. I'm sorry. I love him so much, but he did kick it out. He took full responsibility.
So, Giants Albion. Albion is an ancient UK king from around 4,000 years ago, according to the earliest traditions. He was the king of the first inhabitants of the UK. And according to the written and accepted upon, like, I guess it would be kind of a mythology, is that he was a giant who ruled over a kingdom of giants.
Sick.
Now, I don't know if they were viewed as giants by whoever came into the UK after during his reign or whatever, and were like, these people are tall as fuck. Or, like what they base that on. But according to the written and oral tradition, he was a giant who ruled over giants. Oral.
Word.
And that's all I have about that.
Yeah, Brie, you go
that was a Forrest Gump line in more of a Sling Blade voice he just did there.
Yes.
Now we're getting to Bibby's more side of his favorite part of the giants.
All right.
Yeah, who wants to read?
Let Bobby do
this
it.
one?
Yeah.
I'll read. Oh, unless you
let Bobby read. Yeah.
Well, let me just read the slide here. Mysterious beings or people in the Hebrew Bible who are large and strong. This is the Nephilim we're talking about here. Jewish explanations interpret them as hybrid sons of fallen angels. So if you read into Genesis 6 and the book of Enoch, which is a text that's no longer in the Bible, it's not canon, but it's worthy of a read. I promise you that.
Is that on the
much.
next page, Bree?
Okay.
It was never in the Bible.
It was never in the Bible. Okay.
It was never in the Bible.
Okay. Take it away with Genesis 6 then, there, Bree.
What?
This.
Okay. When man began to multiply and on the face of the land, and daughters were born to them, 2 of the sons of God saw that the daughters of man were attractive, and they took as their wives as they chose. When the Lord said, "My spirit shall abide in man forever, for he is flesh. The days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in the days and also afterwards, when the sons of God came to daughters of man, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown."
Okay, so we have the gods, as we put them. I mean, you can affiliate this with the Anunnaki. You can affiliate this with the Greek and Roman pantheon we were just talking about. These are those motifs that I was alluding to earlier. So they saw the ladies, the human ladies of Earth. They're like, simply irresistible. And the theory is that once they consummated with these human ladies, this is where you get like the ancient bloodlines of kings and things of that nature as well. So again, height still, even if they were hybrids of the Nephilim or the quote unquote gods or the Anunnaki or whatever, hybrid with human women, they would still have a genetic height to them, affiliating them more with power, the power of kings, the bloodlines of the kings, et cetera, et cetera. So
yes, and I think it's important to understand that Nephilim
elongated skulls.
The Nephilim, the word itself is incredibly controversial because there aren't necessarily translations of it. Like when they translated it, they translated Nephilim to Nephilim. So it's not like they were like giving us a new take on it when by the time it got to us. So it's highly debated about what the Nephilim means. So a lot of people think like Bobby was talking Anunnaki possibly, or possibly giants, right? People might think they might be talking about giants, but the Jewish people and the people of Jewish faith actually thought that they were fallen angels. And so it was creating these hybrids of humans and angels, which is kind of like what Bobby was talking about. That goes down back to the royal bloodlines and those kind of things, the stuff that happened on Earth, of where like a lot of people who were in charge of things referred back to this. Well, like, I come from here. Look, I come from the line of gods.
Yes. And there's also a lot of contention between whether it meant either of those things or if Nephilim meant like warrior. There's a more modern interpretation.
Take on it, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you gotta remember too, let's just take a completely skeptical look at this. Let's say we do acknowledge that there were different like species and subspecies of hominid, like human beings, right? We've already talked about that. Neanderthals, Denisovians, human beings, all that. Let's say the large ones were large and in charge, right? Large and in charge people back then would convince their constituents, I guess you could call it, their citizens, that they were gods.
Yes, for sure.
Right? So evolutionarily, if large and in charge is something that naturally creates these hierarchies of civilizations and tribes and whatnot, and then on top of that, you're convincing all your citizens that you are a god. That is a pretty solid starting point for a secular argument for all.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because you're telling them that this is what gods look like. I look like this, so I have to be that.
But it's like, how do you explain I guess the elongated skulls still could be a Denisovian thing.
So, but you also have to remember too that there also have been tribes that have been found that have been manipulating their skulls to be longer in order to look like something, right? So who's not to say that some of these skulls were manipulated in a way for them to be longer?
Or to sell newspapers.
Yeah.
You also have a lot of inaccuracy when it comes to the way that they depicted people. Like you see a lot of these statues going back to like, again, the Egypt times where like you see it, but then when they go and do facial reconstructions of what these people look nothing like what their statues look like, right? So who's not to say they
doesn't look like Ryan Gosling?
They were just giving them these elongated skulls. Maybe they were wearing crowns that had these elongated skulls coming out of the back of it to make it look like they had bigger heads.
Well, yeah, and then you get into like the Pope hat and shit like that, where it's like people argue that that's some sort of reference
hiding the elongated skull.
Yeah. Or the pharaohs had similar pointy hats.
So kind of like what we brought up. Next, the Nephilim, depending on where you get the origin of them, they're either the children of angels or the children of the Anunnaki.
Ouch.
Which kind of would require you to understand the idea that the Anunnaki are these gods for a kind of different Middle Eastern religion that no longer exists.
Sumerian.
But they would, the Sumerians that believe that the Anunnaki would one day return and the Nephilim were their children.
It's the same thing as the Genesis 6 stuff.
It's the same thing, yeah. So that's the interesting part of it is I feel like a lot of the thing that gets me the most about the Bible is I feel like it's so much stuff that's recycled. It's like they took all of these ideas that were already out there from these different cultures and then just really like whited them up to make them like.
Are you talking about like the modern Bible?
Yes.
Or just the Bible in general?
Just the Bible in general, even the original version of it. I feel like you go back and
that's just
you start
the Bible in general is the initial text other than the ancient Sumerian tablet, that is the original text.
That's what
Everything
I'm
else
saying. Yeah.
deciphered
like-
from that.
No. But what I'm
the
saying is that
Bible
they.
is the OG text.
No, I'm not saying it's taking
No one
from
else
other
is taking
texts.
from
What I'm
that.
saying from is it's taking from all these other ideas and cultures that were already
Mm-hmm.
out there in these stories. Because you can even just talk about like Noah's Ark, right? You talk about Noah's Ark.
The flood myth.
So many cultures have that, just a slightly different version of it inside of their own culture.
But-
Yet,
They definitely have
yet
the
the
flood.
version that we accept like universally throughout the world is the Bible version of it, and that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Because
and
the
I'm
Bible
not,
was first to
I'm not
record it.
saying.
I know, but they manipulated all of these other ideas and culture stories into their own version of it, is what I'm saying. It's a manipulated text, whether it's first or not. It is manipulated in a way for what they were trying to do. It's not like they said, "Oh, this happened here," or they were specifically trying to take other people's cultures and ideas. And the Nephilim and talking about the Anunnaki and the Sumerians was part of that. They took part of the Sumerian culture and their ideas, and they manipulated it to make it sound like their own stories. But as you go back and you start looking at all these different religions, you start to understand that all of their stories end up being the same. Like all of them at the root of the day are the exact same lessons and stories, just told through a different cultural lens.
Yeah, but I don't think that the biblical texts were like intentionally trying to just cynically co-opt all these different cultures.
No, I think
I
the people who put them together did. I think that they.
I do.
I think the way that they were arranged were that way. I think when they were initially written by the people who wrote them, no, I don't think so. But I think how they were put together, what was left out, and what was put in, I think is very important.
I think it was just all like assimilated from different cultures of the time,
You
and
did
then
really?
that's what we're talking about is how all of them overlap across different cultures.
Babe, that is so sweet.
Is there a cake, Brie? Can we see
Babe,
it?
come back. Don't leave me. Give me cake.
Wait.
Don't do that.
Let's see the cake.
Drop it, leave.
Oh no, we're upheavaling for a cake.
We are.
Hi ho, hi ho.
Okay, let me see if I can get this on camera.
Oh my god, how cute!
Oh my god, it is so cute, you guys.
Oh my god, happy birthday
Hold on.
to you.
Let me see if I can.
Oh my god,
get
it's an alien! Did he make
Do
that?
that. He just
Stop.
did that.
That's so cute. Okay, I have to make a wish.
If you didn't bring enough for the whole class.
Wow. Make a wish.
I'm sorry, that's so cute.
It's so cute. Make a wish.
I'm gonna slip my wrist to this tonight. It's so
Why?
because I'm emo like that.
She's like, it's so cute. He made me an alien cake. I hope you wish for more YouTube subscribers.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
The next 20
I
minutes,
love
we're going to
it.
sit here and watch Bree eat that
But
cake.
that is so cute. No, you guys continue. I'm sorry, I'm leaving.
Oh, okay, bye.
So, kind of what we were going on with this is that I think Bobby's right, and these are multiple cultures witnessing the same thing and explaining it in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we get the differences between the stories really aren't that big.
And I mean, granted, there is overlap in oral tradition that, as certain tribes connect, it kind of fuses together. Like Hermetic philosophy is ancient wisdom or ancient Greek wisdom mixed with ancient Egyptian wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's that same kind of thing. Like it's just they happen to have these common threads and kind of assimilate it all together, and it just evolves into its own thing over time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Bree, we do need you back for the next slide. If you
I
can
just
come push
realized
it.
she's in charge of the slides.
I was like, if you could come back and push the next slide, you can go
So
back
here's
to
the
what
thing
you were
about the
doing.
Nephilim.
Check out the calves on that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
The chat thinks you're doing something inappropriate. I say it because I know she could hear us. Thank you. All right, go for it, Tones.
So, and then going with the Bible's tradition, you have Goliath David and Goliath, which is in the book of Samuel. And in the Bible, Goliath was a Philistine giant who was defeated by, as everybody knows, David with a rock in a sling, which is like a slingshot, like you spin it around and shoot a rock at a really tall dude.
Now there are like biblical literalists that will say that this happened in, you know, it wouldn't shock me if it did, if this was like based on some sort of true story. But it is, you know, it's a really common archetypical story of like the underdog, right? Like that's something that's in our blood. And so contextually for the time, it would be easy to express that in this way, I think.
I think that that's also with like a lot of stories and ideas in the Bible is they tote this line of they could have possibly happened, but also at the end of the day, what these are moral stories because they're trying to
parables and
exactly. So I feel like even possibly what could have happened is some version of this happened, and then this is the exaggerated storytelling of said real event that happened.
But that gets to the question of, was like, let's say this is based on true events. Was Goliath a giant, or was he just a domineering, larger man that was, you know, giving people hell at the time?
So I think that's what I'm talking. I think that's what I'm talking about is this exaggerated version. Like maybe he was just a bigger man compared to everyone else, and then now we have this exaggerated story of him being a giant now. When like in all reality, he was just really like 7 feet tall, and there wasn't really 7 feet tall people at the time.
If you guys have ever seen, and this is just a, you know, a physical fluctuation in, let's say, I don't know, 400 or 500 years. If you go look at like a knight's, or probably more than that, actually 800 years, like a knight's suit of armor in a museum, these people were like teeny tiny.
Oh yeah,
very small.
They were like 5'2". I don't know. I'm just pulled that number out of my ass, but you know what I mean? Like, so
they weren't big.
If you have differences in like technology and geography and protein sources and how we evolved, some people interbred with Denisovians, some people interbred with Neanderthals, whatever, like you would still have this, when everything was so atomized and tribal, you would still have a lot more distinct diversity in the you know, human family.
No,
right?
I think that you're wrong about that, because I think what that shows cadence to is the idea we were talking about earlier, how being tall is this statue. So you have the more royal, the more upper class are the ones who are taller, and the knights and stuff that you see are shorter because they're poor and they have to be soldiers and things like that. They have to go out and fight in battles, and you don't see fancy rich people going out there and their armor going up and like slaying and things like that. So I think that also kind of
we're
goes
also
to
talking
the cultural
about
side of it.
We're talking about two different time frames here. I was just using the knights as an example to
Gotcha.
describe. So I guess my point is like, I feel like people were evolving in different ways that was more distinguishable at that time because there was less assimilation at that time.
For sure.
So almost like we were saying about the Tolkien thing. Now we've all kind of fused into one Homo sapien, right?
Right. Yeah, like soon you're not going to be able to tell the races apart. It's going to be so mixed. It's all the same. But back then,
as far as like the, you know, the royal bloodlines of like, let's say the Dark Ages or whatever, like, yeah, you're right. Like if we attribute tallness to royalty, by that point, tall people didn't need to fight or anything. They had controlled everything. You know, I'm speaking in generalities here, but you know what I mean.
They were the lords and the people who like looked over the land and stayed home.
Already figured out how to
out fighting. Yeah.
If we could just go back to that, me and Bobby would be in charge of everything.
That's what I'm saying. You guys are so tall.
You're not that tall.
I mean,
Bobby's tall.
Still to
Bobby's
this day,
that tall.
Could we
put
be
up
like
a relatively tall man to run for president?
I have to meet Tony in person to see how tall he is.
Me and Bree,
Bobby
like
was taller than I thought he was.
Wife, if we lived back then, like, would you take us in so we wouldn't get like slaughtered and stuff? Like, you think your wife's like will be their handmaids, like their chambermaids or whatever?
Yeah, we'd have to. We'd have to.
Well, actually, Bree, we both have tall men, so we would be fine.
I'm 6'9".
I'll make you happy.
We'd be landowners. It's fine.
I'd be a good handmaid.
I'd be a good handmaid too. So I was saying. right, get the
be
slides
a
back,
fabulous
Bree.
handmaid
Give
for you.
Give us back these slides.
Okay, I don't think. Okay, so I added this.
So go for it.
So a letter dated back in December 21st, 1808 was from Captain James Allen to Joseph Baxus back in Bridgeport. And the entire letter was a low grade explaining that he had been made aware of these ancient ruins, and they were major giant ruins.
Oh shit. Okay.
So, like, the heading of the letter was concerning some human bones of an extraordinary size, due from a great depth. And this is again in Sicily. This was this was modern, our modern day Sicily at the time, which was not. But it kind of claps back to the Sicily
with Paul.
Yes, that you had spoke of recently. And the drawing of this is wild because this little dude down here is modern man.
So teeny. We've always been so small.
And it's like wild to think, were they really exaggerating? When we look at like the bones are 7 feet, 9 feet, I think that's kind of extraordinary. But to
this
look at
picture right here makes me wonder. Here's the thing, though.
This is modern man.
Here's the thing.
Modern.
I'm
Goliath.
starting to think that maybe it's not that they're giants, but it's that we're the small ones, that they're just normal sized, and us modern humans are the fucking tiny things.
Honestly, Jamie, I think that's a really good point that you just said that. I think that's a truly great spin on it.
I really think that.
Who's to say that they weren't necessarily giants, but it's that we've all collectively gotten shorter.
That we're just teeny now, yeah. And that was like normal for them, and now we're just these teeny little things that survive like cockroaches.
And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier is that you know, when we looked at these different skulls, that we saw the Neanderthal and then the Denisovan skulls, but then from even our human ones, when they projected that, like, then when they projected what we would look like, we would turn into little grays. So I think that's a great point. Who's to say that we didn't all start out this big and then we're just like, we're degrading down? I think that's really sad. But it is cool that you can go back to letters of 1808 to find someone talking about them excavating these giant ruins and comparing them to the sizes of boats. So we're going to get to the dick.
Here we go.
Giant hair. And
all right, it's back.
Yes, Giant Hill and Carnael Bastos.
All giants are always fully erect.
Always.
When handling their clubs.
This is a big deal, actually.
Clearly.
This is a big dick deal.
So 180 feet tall.
It's 180 feet tall. They have yet to identify the origin necessarily and the time frame. As far back that they can go, it is in the 1700s.
That's when the first written records were.
Correct. But in the area, there's a shit ton of folklore. And the overly precedented folklore there is that it was the actual outline of a giant. Like if a giant fell and then they carved it in and they tried to keep the corpse in place.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So like a battle happened here. This is where it died, just like that.
Oh,
and they
it's
made
like
like a police sketch outline of its
like
body.
a chalk outline.
Yeah.
Correct.
And can you imagine how they were just like, we have to do a chalk outline, and somebody was like,
I'll do the dick.
Don't forget his dick. Yeah, I feel
Don't
like
forget his huge erect dick.
that's the
Again,
only
a symbol of
unfortunate
power.
part. I feel like if they didn't do that, people would move past it. They would be like, "Is that an alien head or what? What's going on?" But that is a full erect giant dick.
Even proportionally, ladies, that's like a pretty well hung guy, right?
Yeah, it's up on his chest basically. Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty good.
He could probably suck his own dick, respectively.
this dude's 180 foot tall. Can you imagine just walking around and there's like a 40-foot dick swinging across?
Oh my god!
As you come walking,
how terrifying! Like, ooh, there's another perspective of it. Holy shit!
How have I never seen this before?
I do dream of that, Tony. I do dream of that.
Yeah,
of a 40-foot dick just swinging around.
Yeah.
And like I'm just somewhere like ready to bob for apples. So I'm just like, is it coming? I'm there.
She's like muscle memory.
That is okay.
There we go.
Happy birthday.
But listen, take into consideration proportion wise to the nipples.
I love that the nipples are there.
They are
not that impressive.
What? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, that's still a huge cock though.
Is he wearing
not
pants?
If the nipples are that big.
Like, what's going on by his? Are they pants?
I think that was like maybe his V line and maybe his abs they were drawing. I'm gonna be honest with you.
What do they call them? Cum gutters.
Cum gutters. Oh, yeah, maybe the flaps of his folds.
Something I'll never have.
Maybe his armor. Yeah, I don't know.
So that's why this made the intro video. This is a major time line for us to consider. Is when we shift to the Americas. There are so many American mounds that have yet to, they have been discovered, but also have been covered up. This is kind of the beginning of the cover up, I believe, in the Americas. This is one that they cannot cover up, and I think people take for a joke because it's such a big schlong.
Because you should peep.
Such a big schlong. But look at that. What the hell?
Just from flying over, I would love to fly over it and witness that.
They fertilize that area very well.
They really did. They're keeping good care of it.
I mean, I would love to do anything over that. I'll take
whoever owns the land. Yeah, I'm sure people go there to visit it and stuff. It looks like maybe in the right-hand bottom corner there might be a little building or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a wild thought here in the Americas.
That's the Dick Museum.
Mound builders.
This is when we get into a little bit of what I like to think of the cover up.
Wait, I have a question. Where's the big dick? Where's that at? Where is that? Is that in America? Can we go there?
England.
Yeah, baby.
Dorset? Yeah.
Dorset, England.
But you can go.
Abbas, Dorset.
Imagine getting tourism for that thing.
You can go, Bob, and you might be able to.
Can you buy like a mug with that thing on it?
Welcome to Dorset. Come see our 60-foot wang.
Come see our 60-foot wang.
I always saw the giant dick and all I got
science
was
show
t-shirt.
here on Bobby's Cryptid Corner.
Heyo.
So there is a huge part of the Americas that has been known for these suspicious mound, what they now call the mound builders. There's a lot of ancient ruins in which have been discovered and also covered up. And it's what I am kind of leading to one of the biggest conspiracies, I think, in the Americas when it comes to archaeology. So there is, when it comes to the mound builders, what we're talking about is like when people think of not necessarily a pyramid, but similar to
a mound.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. But for a particular purpose, and sometimes that is ruins, and possibly the person that they buried actually fits the size of the ruins, which is extraordinary. And then also different archaeological finds that they find, like pots. They found bracelets that are like out of this world, and if you put it into a normal archaeological like timeline, it does not fit. It's like, why do they have these pristine bracelets that are made out of rubies or
And
whatever
this is
the
in
fuck?
North America.
Yeah, this is in our states. Our states, it doesn't line
Yeah.
up. And so the big deal here is that they're kind of covering this up because it would alter the entire timeline of people. Because it wouldn't make sense if these what they want us to think are just like string bean feather headeds to trample onto the land. And
whoa, easy there, Bree. Jesus.
Wow, yeah.
Calm down, David Duke.
Yeah.
All right. No, yeah. I'm picking up what you're putting down, though. It's like what we were saying about our paradigms with academia. And
what's
what
wrong with saying that? It's like that's what they think.
Right, but I'm getting to that. So if you look at like Serpent Mound, I believe it's in Ohio, they're always
Correct.
like, no, the natives built this, and the natives like, we didn't fucking build that. I don't know why you white people keep saying that. Like, no, you built it. Don't worry about it. That's what we decided for you. Good job, guys. And they give them like a casino.
Right.
Yes.
What's up with the timer? Can we get
What's
rid
up
of
with this
that?
timer?
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, it's special.
I don't really know how to get rid of it either.
Oh, fun. Just like a weird 3-second timer. For
Is
what?
it a Canva thing? Is it a Canva thing?
I don't know.
I can't right click on it. Anyway.
No. Anyways, all right.
So, yes, the mound builders, they have excavated many mounds, and there are a lot of ruins of very tall folk that seem to allude to the fact that giants were here in America. But the fact that there were more than 10,000 mounds in the state of Ohio is wild. So there were these mounds, and then back in the day, so this is the circumference of 600 feet. Jesus Christ. They got rid of them, obviously, back in the day. If you owned a bunch of land, why would you not excavate it? If you saw something weird, you might have gotten rid of it. It's different between then and now, where if you came across something that you thought was extraordinary, you would probably call someone to come take a look and document what was there in your land. That's not really a thing back in the day necessarily, because they're like, just like a bunch of mounds. This is a drawing that John Everhart depicts. He saw an actual sandstone there, almost like a tablet, which is now have been rummaged away. So it wasn't only just like the bodies, but there might have been a tablet back in the day.
Or at least some version of carvings going on, yeah. In their own language.
It washes away the fact that this could have actually been a legitimate archaeological site that was washed away because it doesn't make sense in our timeline. Who's to say what this would have meant?
What's with that timer?
Oh my God, I don't know.
I can't read the text.
I'm silly.
It's okay, go to the next one. You don't need it for this one.
All right.
She hit something. Okay, an article from 1892, Ironton Registered Newspaper. One skull was from a skeleton that measured nearly 9 feet long and was possibly a member of the Edina Giants, the mound builders. And some of the bones were very large, showing that they were giants in those days, probably the mound builders. Among the remains were thin cranial bones of a child that almost fell to pieces when it was touched, it would have been almost impossible to rescue a complete skeleton unless a person were to do the exhuming entirely with his fingers. I don't know what they used instead of fingers. And then he would find many of the bones quite imperfect. The skull used for the Adena recreation was that of burial 16 from Wright Mounds in Kentucky. So
I was
you
just
have
putting
these
there that
elongated skulls showing up in like middle America, Midwest America.
yes, the different spots that I put earlier in which they couldn't really date back to the time frame. Based off of the people that were able to excavate the area and have the bones before they went off to God knows when, this is the kind of shape that they could gather. They were
Right.
huge. The craniums were elongated for whatever the purpose or the meaning, or if they were just born that way.
Have we mentioned that a lot of the accounts seem to mention that they have 6 fingers?
No, we haven't talked about
6
pterodactyl.
fingers?
Yeah, and is that in here at all, Tony? I just want
No.
to bring some. Okay,
Not
so
to
one of the
me.
descriptions in some accounts or some mythologies is that they have 6 fingers, and one theory is that a lot of when the natives, the way they, the Hollywood is how, or like a wave basically, is showing someone that you don't have 6 fingers, that you're a regular human that's not a threat.
Right, that's what the wave would have meant.
Right. Just a theory. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. That's what all the cuckoo birds that I read say.
Well, it's kind of wild to think that in Ohio, in the states in which we reside, many people that don't live in the states obviously are like, whatever. But for us, I think that the states encompass a certain type of knowledge. When you go to school, you learn about A, B, and C, and it's kind of just everything on the area that we live. This is left out. This is something that's been implanted.
This stuff's even left out in church. Like people don't know about Genesis 6.
Yeah.
Like you bring that up, they're like, what are you talking about?
But they know about it, but it just like it goes out the mind because they think of it as a fable, which is the worst part in I think all of any type of like religion really or biblical nature, is that they take and pick what they want to believe in. We can believe in the devil, but we can't believe that the Nephilim were actually angels and then fell below and then made fucking sex
Or
with
are certain
the
things
people
intentionally
below and
suppressed?
Yeah.
Right. But it's wild to think that there could possibly have been peoples in our states that looked like this. There were giants.
Supposedly giants had red hair too. Do you think that's what our like
all the gingers come from?
We're startled by gingers. We're like, yeah.
Is that why we say that gingers have no souls?
I love a ginger.
Ew. I love a fake ginger.
Thank you, Dennis, for your donation.
Yes, thank you.
So based off of the model, though, that what we've seen.
This is like my sketchbook from high school.
This is Bobby. This is Tony. I'm just kidding. This is Bobby, Tony, Jamie. Jamie and I are down here.
I got a Kindle.
Yeah. But Bobby and Tony are at least as high. They're at least as high, I hope. And then
we're both taller than that weird Kindle.
They were like, we can't paint any dicks on this because people would just get too out of control.
Maybe I'll get a red wig for next week.
We'd have horny people everywhere.
Yes.
If we put a dick on these things.
We can't put a dick on the normal person, but the giant, look at that bulge.
They got a nice Photoshop blur.
Yes.
You know, I would like to see the anatomy live up to the potential
back with the dicks
etymology of all of it. You know what I'm saying?
It always comes back to
and
dicks.
it's not adding up. And that's my problem.
While we're the the gorilla isn't well endowed. Compared to the rest of
Smallest penis to size of any hominid.
Huge balls, though. I hear.
Big giant.
You know what?
balls.
That's an interesting fact. That could have been actually a thing with evolution. It could be that you didn't need such a wide cock to deliver such a huge
Wow.
load.
Wow.
Maybe it was like an impregnation
Couldn't think of another word.
thing.
Wow, I know she said that so aggressively.
Cock.
Maybe, actually, if you think about it, evolution-wise, maybe when you inseminate the idea of a person and the meaning behind it is when the body starts to produce a wider range of its specimen in order to fulfill its mate. I'm getting so deep. I mean,
are you writing romance novels over there?
She is always.
But that makes sense, doesn't it? If you go to like the need, like a human need is a small but we're just it's like a gun. It's
I'm learning a lot about you, Brie.
Are we still talking about dicks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She is.
I was talking about science.
Cock science.
That
Cock
maybe
science.
but it makes sense, right? Like back in the day, if we were actually to compare ourselves to this model here, he's lacking because his most need is to procreate. Where in nowadays, it's changed.
Yeah, he just wants to be viral on TikTok.
And
So
two things.
therefore,
One,
evolution has to change as well. It's not just a need and a need to continue evolution and procreation. It's a need to satisfy and continue with overall satisfactory, right? So he would elongate, but maybe contain.
You
Is
also
this
got
a Lamaze
growers and
class?
not showers, but
But look at the glutes on this.
yeah, I was
dude.
gonna say thank you, Jamie. One, he might just be a grower, not a shower,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
fine.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
And secondly, who's to say, like, you think about like what we're saying about gorillas, maybe when you live in nature and you're not clothed and you're more vulnerable, evolutionarily, you kind of shrink up a little bit, George Costanza style, so that your schlock doesn't get chopped off by something.
It's possible, but we should also consider the natural evolutionary process. I think that we should consider that the master behind all of us is super genius. It is AI, in my point of view. So it would think, okay, in order to keep people happy and to adapt to a civilization, I would not only increase my size, but I would also think of course, my load, but it wouldn't necessarily be my load. It would be the size, and it would be in relationship to the people and what they want out of the experience. Right?
Bree, you're going to captain the episode on the ancient phallus next week.
Yeah, Jesus, exactly. When Bobby's not here in Mexico.
This week on Bobby's Cryptid Corner, boners.
You guys are just like missing the point. Like you guys are just like not diving deep with me. It's kind of heartbreaking.
I've never looked at dicks in that lens, I'll admit.
Well, someone always says to dive deep. I'm a deep diver.
So I will say it seems like we've been talking about like the male species of giants so much, but I did want to point out the fact that there are hot lady giants right there for everybody.
Like
those are good breeding hips.
That's what I'm saying. That's where they have them big titties for the milk, them breeding hips.
Yep. Nothing like some 300-pound titties swinging around.
That's why. Listen, they're a weapon.
Hell yeah.
Death by snooze.
This is a like unexpectedly sexy episode tonight.
I know.
I thought the mermaids were
aggressive, but
this
is
a hot episode.
These are trolls.
Never mind.
These are trolls. I think it's
I
important to
don't know if that's the
understand.
thing.
These are trolls, not giants.
Book.
Ooh, what happened?
I'm starting over. I don't like it.
Oh,
Spooky's over there just like furiously masturbating.
Oh, for sure. For sure. This whole episode. Actually, Spooky, we have some business with you later. I'll message you.
Ooh.
Whoa.
We have something we want from you.
Oh,
We want your channel.
We want your soul.
We want your load.
there's not one channel in the world that we want other than our own.
Facts.
Facts.
What's happening right now? He's gonna.
I was like, we're just waiting for Brie to.
Oh,
Yeah. She's reloading.
She's rebooting.
I was hoping you guys could pick it up.
Hey, Hawkzilla in the chat. Spooky Morales, Joe 5D, who is Bree's special friend.
Angel
we got
Wings is
Night
here.
Gazer, Angel Wings, B Baker,
Joe 5D.
Metal Gaming, Marvin Dale Likens Jr. All 24 of you. We appreciate you through this.
Lukem Spookum. Haven't seen him in a
Dennis,
while. Or
Dennis
her. I don't
is
know.
here.
Ooh, the Lukem.
Luke. That's Luke.
Freaky Geek. Brown Dwarf.
If you guys want to, if everybody wants to take a minute to like this,
Yeah, if you guys want to like, subscribe, share out.
do all that stuff.
Yeah. I feel like we're close, Brie, are we?
Are you
That's
close, Jamie?
That's what she said.
Bam. Hot Lady Giants.
Are you close?
Oh, there we go.
Boom. There we go.
Oh, is that what you were
tell me.
doing, Bree?
No,
Are
that
you
was
close?
I love this. Mostly because
Okay.
I put my name there. Don't worry. I did that to myself, Bibby, if it makes you feel better.
Okay, I thought that was not okay.
No, I
I
did that
put-
to myself. If anything,
That's
I'm
great.
gonna make the joke as myself before anyone else does it. You should know that about me. Ooh.
That's what I feel like when I get out of the shower. Is that lady
It's like
on the
this is
left.
my body type.
If you walk by a mirror, you're like, ah, good lord.
This is my overall body type, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah, I feel it.
I like how it
mine's the
has-
other one.
It has a raccoon for a clasp for its shirt. Does anybody notice that?
Oh my god, you're right. That's how big she is. That's hilarious. Oh
What
my
if,
god, I didn't even notice that.
These things are like built to survive, right? They're just
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure.
And what if like they went extinct because they're like those big motherfuckers are just eating all our shit and we just need to
Kill 'em.
clap all out of here so that
I also think that these if giants, if we're talking about the species of giants, that they are these big giant creatures and harder to survive. You know, it's not like they like
Bree,
the
what are you
smaller people
doing?
were easily made tools and stuff would have a harder time with it. What are you doing, Brie?
a peek behind the curtain.
Jesus, what do you got going on?
So this is what we do.
We're almost at the end.
We're almost there, Bree. Almost
Brie
there.
really wants to eat her cake. That's why.
I don't have cake.
I'm intermittent
What is-
fasting.
It's
I
a
don't like
brownie.
sweets.
What did your
though.
husband bring you? That was a cake.
I
You got weed in it?
don't know, but it's not cake.
Are you on mushrooms right
I
now?
was like, yeah, what is did you do drugs?
I think you're on drugs. That would explain so much.
So much.
There's Are you guys serious? Why do you guys have to fucking
All right,
cast
I'm
me?
gonna. My theory is that Bree just ate mushrooms, and I'd like to
something, yeah.
test by Bree. You take this next slide, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, go to the
There's
next slide.
No, that's not fair. That's
Can
Why is-
you-
eating.
Not this slide. We already saw this one. Bree.
Yeah, the next one.
We already saw this slide.
No, fix it so it's
Present. Those are trolls. All right. Look.
We have to say, Brie.
You try taking on my show, okay?
This is John Fetterman of Pennsylvania.
All right, Tony, tell us what's
shit.
going on here.
all right. So check out this video. Where's the audio? Okay, so it's a giant. Check it out. This is on top of a mountain from miles away.
That's a Bigfoot.
Then we see a
Maybe a
large person. This was filmed early 2022 in British Columbia by Andrew Dawson. He uploaded this video to TikTok. And as you can see, there's a big giant person walking across the top of a mountain.
After Effects.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's cool and all, but that's nothing as far as I'm concerned. If we're playing butt stuff on this video here.
We got a couple it goes on. Next one.
I like that you're like accustomed to it now because you were actually a dick on butt stuff.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
hard. You were hard dick.
Go back and watch your
butt stuff.
episode.
What did I do?
You were
You're
douche
grumpy.
Bigelow.
I don't remember.
Go back and watch it. You're grumpy.
Okay.
I feel like you're like Kari.
No. Okay.
Maybe
Cynical.
we give Kari such a hard time, but he was actually Kari. So like maybe we should give him a pass.
Maybe.
Oh, well, you guys got to talk to me about this earlier.
I feel like we just like dicks. Maybe that's a problem.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, we
There's
just
a
like
lot of-
aggressive people.
Jamie and I
Clearly,
just
everyone on this stream
gravitate
likes
towards dicks.
Dicks. Yeah.
Like you either have a dick or we like a dick, and that's just like
Can't be
act
both.
Like a dick.
Can't be both.
God.
Okay,
Jamie,
keep going to the
this
next
is a
one.
Personal problem.
I know. Go to the next slide. Tony, what we got here?
So this next slide, it's the same mountain. It's later on in the year. The snow has melted, and there's a helicopter extracting something from this.
Does anyone else hear? Oh, there's nothing. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
But could you guys hear the volume before?
No. No.
Dude, spooky, calm down over there.
So yeah, it's a helicopter pulling something off of the same mountain range.
It's got to be giant.
Now this is the heli extraction one that you see on the right here is what we just watched, and for some reason TikTok has decided that participating in this activity, i.e. these videos, could result in you or others getting hurt, which is interesting. The next one was CIA Part 2. He believed he ran into some CIA agents trying to go up on the mountain. Go ahead to the next one, Bree.
You guys can't hear that though.
No. So this is the last video that he uploaded. And
Hold up. You
heading out
might
to the
not
Warp
see
Tour.
me post ever again.
Yeah, he says you'll never see me post ever again. Everything that I posted was real.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Spoiler alert.
That's tough.
This is the last post that he would make on TikTok, and this is on that same mountain range. It snowed again. It's British Columbia, and now there's this military something up on the mountain, some type of observation post.
For sure.
Somebody got to him.
Like, what kind of fucking mountain is that, too? Like, that's wild.
It's British. It's like near where Ogopogo is. So
You just said
all
it's
the Rocky
British.
Mountains. Yeah,
British
it's British
Columbia.
Columbia. It's Canadian.
British. It's British. It's out of this world.
So if we go on to the next one.
Just to recap, this person had videotaped something that was out of the ordinary from their
Yes.
perspective. And then on terms of him continuing to videotape, something weird is happening to him.
Yep. There's actually a UFO sighting and a bunch of other stuff, but unfortunately, just a few weeks later, Andrew Dawson died, and this is his actual obituary after he posted that video saying everything I talked about was real and all this other stuff, and posted his last video. The reason why we don't go down into this, if anybody wants to look it up, all you have to do is go to the Campbell River Mirror, or you can just Google Andrew Ryan Dawson, and it will bring up his obituary.
And go watch all his videos. Yeah.
Yes, go watch all his videos on TikTok, and all his family members are listed in this obituary. So we didn't want to kind of like
Show it.
We didn't want to show it, but
So nice of Tony. I was like, let us do the list. Like, and Tony's like, no, we don't want to dox them. So if we could, because we know what's happening, I would like you guys to just go back and see that he started from this, just witnessing nothing. right? And then he was like, wait, what is that?
I'm with Metal Gaming right now.
And
Don't
he said,
trust
no,
TikTok.
seriously, pull over.
Yeah, but if you're talking about not trusting TikTok, then you also have to not trust Instagram and not trust Facebook and not
Correct.
trust YouTube.
You can't trust anything.
Yes,
that
correct.
You
TikTok
can't,
is the
you
same.
can't
All of the
trust
above.
any of it. Yeah.
So even if this is even if he made this all up and everything, the fact that he died shortly
Died
after
is so
making,
interesting. Yeah. How did he die?
We don't
they
know.
don't say. The Canadians don't like to list deaths after so many people died of being there.
Oh, okay.
So the
All
point
right.
is that he might have captured something that we shouldn't have seen,
And we was silenced.
and he was on it, and he posted it on TikTok, and we don't know. We don't know if it's something that is related or not. But the point is that he documented seeing something that was out of this world.
And
Well,
now
the
he's
thing
not
is-
here.
You don't see a lot of TikTok videos where somebody's filming a helicopter flying over a mountain and they say, if warning, if you participate in this, it could cause harm to you or others. That's just a
That's
weird.
true.
Like
but could that just
participating.
be, hey, don't take videos while you're driving though?
A huge possibility, yes.
It could be, yes. Because I
Or
think
don't
I know
videotape
he's
shit
driving.
that
and-
is gonna get you killed, and then he was killed.
Yeah, but I would have to know like when these warnings came up on the videos, because all these views showed up because these videos were showcased in Slapped Ham, Sir Spooks.
I'm glad we're
and
participating in
Nukes
the
Top 5.
activity.
Yeah, you were perpetuating it.
Yes, absolutely. Don't drink and drive or whatever.
It's just
he's
kind
doing.
of wild
film
though, because
giants.
TikTok in general, it's full of people that do things like this. So
Like
it's
the Tide
interesting to
Pod.
think that that you could actually videotape something that is not great for you and your family.
Yeah.
You might get thousands of votes, but you could die. So I'd like to see, I want to know this full story. It's kind of sad.
So if
that
you look
he
up
just is like-
Andy Capt, ANDYCAPT on TikTok, you'll be able to watch all the videos. You don't have to log into TikTok to watch them, and you can just see how this all progressed and why I wanted to include this in our discussion about giants.
Mm.
If you don't have TikTok, I really don't know what's wrong with you.
Bobby.
Bobby?
Yeah, I'm not doing that thing.
Because
Chinese cultural subversion.
it's
5D
beyond
warfare shit.
propaganda to say that, oh, it's just the Chinese. Are you shitting my dick right now?
Are you shitting my dick?
The American government is the worst government you want on your ass. Okay? Let's pretend we're in a different country. You're like,
Okay,
the
let her
American
not
government
participate in
is
either.
watching you on this app. I don't know about you guys, but based off of our history, the American government is the scariest government to ever have on your back. And I don't know if I'm proud of that or if I'm scared of it. It's probably a combination. I mean, I'm proud to be an American because we'll kill you. So, I mean, I'm like halfway a middleman. But I really don't think that there's anything that the Chinese government can take from any TikTok and turn into something that is like a legitimate adversary to us. I think that we are the number one always. And so if you belong to the number one hated and most untrustworthy government of them all, then just give in to everything.
Isn't that a Nelly song?
Maybe.
Oh, let's write it right now.
Like, I am.
This is a show about giants. All right.
All right. Give us your next slide, Bree.
Moving on, Bree.
There's no other slide.
There are.
This
I
is
don't
the
know what
end?
you guys
Oh.
want.
Oh.
This is the it.
P5.
I was like, this is my special poem that I put in for Bree. Fee fi fo fum. I want to put me fum in your bum. That was my special birthday surprise for her. So I guess that means that we're coming to the factor sci-fi of this all.
Before we do that, real quick, can we just mention Tony and I made the executive decision, not to include the giant of Kandahar.
Yep.
Kandahar, the Afghani rumor. That's a whole episode in and of itself. If you're interested in learning about that, it's a really interesting story, and we'll cover it eventually.
All right, let's start with the birthday girl, Bree. Give us your factor Sifi.
7.
Oh, okay.
Wow, right off the bat.
Right off the bat. Okay.
I think that whether or not I believe in all those silly stories, that I think there's enough evidence to perpetuate the idea that there have for sure been fellas that have been bigger than the rest of you. And I would love to believe in that.
I get you. I feel that. All right, what about your Tones?
I'm gonna give it based off of the Denisovans and the genetic historical record and what they have found. I'm gonna give this a straight 10 fact.
Love this. This is a vibe. Okay.
Sexy.
Bibi?
Yeah, pretty much exactly what Tony just said. I'm going to give it a fact. Like a lot of that stuff that we saw at the end there, like whatever. It's just, but there's just too much. There's too much anomalies here, and we have acknowledged the Denisovians. Even mainstream science has, and I just like the idea of it. I enjoy that the world was once ruled by giants, and we didn't really mention it. There's whole theories behind, like, we've talked about it before. The like giant plateaus could have been like petrified tree trunks and things like that. And when the atmosphere is super oxygenated, like oxygen rich, things get much bigger. So there were other time periods where even humans could have been around where that kind of effect happened. So again, I don't believe the mainstream timeline of ancient history, so I say why
Never.
not?
I'm gonna fact this one as well, but for the idea that I threw out earlier, where like I just think that it's not necessarily that they're giants, it's that was just the normal size, and the people recording them ended up being smaller, and so they are calling them these giants, but that was just normal. And so I think that it was actually a real like race of people who were out there.
We're just short people.
We're just short people now. Exactly.
Short people got.
I love when can I just say
short people lore?
I love when we all agree on things.
Yep.
I do have to say that there's no Bobby's Cryptid Corner next week because Bobby's in Mexico.
What?
Olay.
But I feel like maybe we'll have a talk about what we're gonna do, because I don't think we have any idea, but I think that Bobby and Tony have an idea for when Bobby comes back.
I feel like we should just do one without Bobby.
Oh wow, okay, maybe that's fine. We could do that.
Go for it.
Also tomorrow we are on Strange Recon. Everyone is invited. I don't know if Tony or Bobby are going to show up, but I'm going to send you all the link. It's like later in the day.
Be all of Toddy Wabba team.
Yeah, y'all are invited. And then on Thursday, we are premiering our old show with a new name. Butt Stuff is no longer Butt Stuff, and it is officially the Super Serious Science Show.
Super Serious Science Show.
Super Serious Science Show. It is renamed. It is no longer Butt Stuff because everyone other than me hates that name. And so it is now Super Serious Science Show.
I love both names, to be honest.
I like Butt Stuff, but it is what it is.
Was Butt Stuff a reference to the like anal probing thing?
No, it was literally just a joke. I made it like a joke fake stream.
JAIMIE? That's what everybody thinks.
And everyone thinks it's like probing. That's why.
JAIMIE, is that a wig?
Super serious. Yeah, here. You know what? End of show.
What?
Let's do it. End of show. End of show.
Wait, are we gonna start a whole nother segment of Bobby not realizing that you wear wigs and
fake
shit?
hair and wigs all the time?
We don't do it every episode.
But I feel like we do.
She looks so much better without the fucking wig.
Also, thank you to Marvin and Dennis for donating. Yes. We really do appreciate you guys. You guys are literal angels. Yeah, that's the real hair. There it is. It's there. It's thin. It's short, but it's alive. We love you guys. Any other final comments from anyone? Bree, happy birthday. Happy birthday to Bobby on Friday. Tony, thank you for being a veteran. I hope you had a good Veterans Day.
Thank
Yes,
you.
for
I
sure.
did. And Thanksgiving is coming up, or Indigenous
Thanksgiving.
People Day, or whatever you care about.
Gobble squatch.
Eat food day. Get fat day.
Mm.
I
It's
like
a day
it.
when the true Americans
Kill a
gave
bird.
the fake Americans a bunch of diseases because they deserve it.
There you go. All right. We love you guys, and we'll see y'all
Wow.
next week or tomorrow,
That
whenever
worked
we
out the
see
way
you again.
wanted it to.
It didn't. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.